If you're new to Star Citizen, one of the first things you're going to want to do is make money. Bounty hunting is one of the most reliable ways to make money without really risking much, only your time and the destruction of your ship, but since you can just reclaim it, it's not that big of a deal. So the first thing you want to do is select the tracker mission, the beginner tracker mission, accept that, and go take out the target. Once you do that, you'll have to the corresponding missions that it unlocks, and once you do enough of those, it'll unlock the next tracker certification, and then you just keep doing that until you get to one of the higher ranks, like HRTs. That's a good one to make money on, but above that there's ERTs, which is an extreme risk target, but those are harder and you're going to need a good ship to do that. So for now I'm just recommending HRTs because if you rent a Constellation Andromeda, that's more than powerful enough to do everything you're going to need it to do on HRTs. So I already had a decent guild rank at the start of this patch, so you're just going to see me chain all of the tracker missions until I get to the Journeyman tracker, and that unlocks HRTs. And that's going to be the main focus for this video because the other ones, they're easier to do. So I guess depending on what ship you have, you can chain those if you want to, if it'll be easier for you. But HRTs is a good way to make money. And if you've been unlocking the ranks, you'll probably have enough money to rent like a Constellation or something, and that's a good ship to do HRTs with. Now, one of the things about HRTs is that they tend to spawn a lot of wingmen for your target, and depending on the target ship, that can actually be kind of dangerous, as you'll see in when I actually do the Journeyman tracker mission. Another factor is if your bounty is on a planet that has atmosphere, that'll change the flight characteristics, and it can just make it a lot harder because you're going to end up taking a lot more shots. You'll see I take quite a bit of damage in the Cutlass Red, and I eventually switch it out for a different ship. And the first ship that I tried out was the Vanguard Harbinger, and the first mission I did spawned a Reclaimer, and that took like a really long time to kill. I ended up switching to the Constellation Andromeda, which ended up being a much better, probably the best ship for HRTs, I think, because even if you run into a bigger ship like the Redeemer, you can still make relatively quick work of it, and then once you take out the main target, you just leave. I said Redeemer a second ago, but I meant Reclaimer. Another important factor when you're doing bounty missions is where you do them. The best place, in my experience, to do it is in Crusader, because most of the bounties are in space or in low atmosphere, so it's not as hard as doing bounties in atmosphere, and it doesn't take as long because you don't have to enter and then exit the atmosphere. And as you can see, I'm kind of struggling. I eventually end up having to try to run away and get my shields back, and I take some damage, and because I couldn't do enough damage to, like, the goal should be to take out the target ship and then just leave. Normally you don't want to take out the wingmen, but in this case I had to because I didn't have enough maneuverability on the planet, so I had to take them down, otherwise they would destroy me. And so I took them down one by one and then took out the target. But if you do your bounties in space, you won't really have to worry about that as much, as long as you have a ship that can do enough damage, which if you rent the Constellation Andromeda, which is what I recommend, it'll go pretty smoothly. And another thing to consider is when you're doing your bounty missions, you're going to want to stay in one area like Crusader, because you can do them like across the system, but if you stay in one area, you'll build up reputation with the local security, and you'll get bonuses on top of the actual mission. I think it goes up to 20%, but it does take a lot longer to unlock the bonuses, but once you do it, you just make even more money. So let me know in the comments what you think about this video. Like, subscribe. Let me know if you want me to do like high ranking bounty missions in starter ships, I can give that a try, see how far I can go. All right, see you guys next time.
Congratulations. Target is destroyed.
Shields damaged. Enemy down. Shields damaged.